Today we are checking out Standard again, and this time we are playing Cliff Dive Demon Hunter. If you have not played against Cliff Dive Demon Hunter, the whole purpose of this deck is to find the card Cliff Dive, which is a 6-mana spell that summons 2 minions from your deck and gives them Rush, and they go back at the end of your turn, meaning they go back into your deck. So the whole purpose, find this card, and the way that we do this is either to draw it naturally or through our one of Fae Trickster, which is a 3-mana 2/4 dragon with the death rattle of draw a spell that costs 5 or more. And the only spell that we play that costs 5 or more is Cliff Dive. But how do we find our Fae Trickster, you may ask? That is when Tuskpiercer comes into play. 1 mana, 1/2 weapon, death rattle, draw a death rattle minion, and the Fae Trickster is our only death rattle minion. So now that I've explained how we are going to find the Cliff Dive, what are we summoning off of Cliff Dive? The first target is Illidari Inquisitor, which is an 8-mana 8/8 that has Rush naturally, and after your hero attacks an enemy, this attacks it too. So we are usually just attacking the opponent's face to deal a rushing, pseudo-rushing amount of damage, and that is usually enough to get the opponent close to 0, and if that is not enough, we also run the Briarspawn Drake. This has been the top end to many combos like Zarimi Priest, and what this guy does, he's a 10 mana 12/7. At the end of your turn, attack a random enemy minion. Excess damage hits the enemy hero. So we are just trying to deal massive amounts of damage with our Cliff Dive. One thing I want to point out is that the Drake did not always work with Cliff Dive. His end of turn effect and the Cliff Dive go back into your deck end of turn thing was what I believe it was like random, but Blizzard did recently hotfix this so that the Drake always has its end of turn go off and then it goes back into your deck with Cliff Dive. So kind of a neat thing that Blizzard did. It was like kind of hidden in the bug report, but this now works 100% of the time instead of being random. And that is pretty much Cliff Dive Demon Hunter. At a little side note, I saw that we recently got to 1,000 subscribers, which I do very much appreciate. So if you want to see Hearthstone content like this in the future, join a couple of those other 1,000 people and hit that subscribe button. And if you like this deck and take it for a spin, tell me how it does for you in the comments down below. Anyway, let's get into some games. Another Demon Hunter opponent. Wonder if they're doing something similar to me. Trying to cheese out some games with maybe a Cliff Dive. Maybe they're like an aggressive deck, so maybe some removal could be good. Let's try out that theory. Gonna be keeping Tuskpiercer for my one of Death Rattle in my deck. Being everyone's favorite Fae Trickster. Next turn I have a nice little hero power Headhunt to clear pretty much anything they do. Probably just looking at a Grim Harvest then, if that's all they got going on. Let's first hit with our weapon just in case this drew our Trickster. Now we can just throw out a, what's this called? Serpent Dreadsteed? Dreadseed, rather. Which one do they get? A true mirror match. I'm probably just gonna slap down the Trickster. We kind of have a perfect curve going right now. Next turn's probably just a dangerous Cliffside. And then we're just gonna be hitting. We are just simply going to be hitting our opponent. Nah. Let's just prioritize hitting with our pirates. Get them down to 24. So I'm going to have a 5/5 Lifestealer to recover that 1 health here soon. I would love if they dealt with my Fae Trickster for me, which they don't. Kind of disrespectful if you think about it. I think this is just going to be a nice little clear for me. So, yeah. Let's just get a nice little clear going. And this will hit their 3/3 every time. And might as well just keep shoving that damage. Just really trying to get them to clear my 2/4. Now their Tuskpiercer hit will need to go into my 5/5 Lifestealer if they want to use that for attack and to clear their Tuskpiercer. So they too could get a 3-mana 2/4. Oh no, do they have it? They found it naturally. Ooh. Nasty. And they're probably just going to hit my head. If I had to guess. Maybe. Yep. Hitting my head for a bit of damage, I want to say. Just like a tiny bit of damage. I'm not even really that worried about it. Okay. So, this turn, I do need to cliff dive myself. Let's clear here. Hit there. 13. Okay, okay. And is this lethal? I feel like this might be exactly almost lethal. Big bummer. Down to 1. So if they have another cliff dive, I am likely dead. But if they don't, I'm likely alive, which is huge news for all the Froot fans out there. The fact that they're just like not slapping this down instantly makes me a little happy. Okay. So they're at 4. And I'm at 6. And I do not want a hero power just in case, because this could kill their 3/3. So I am better off just double headhunting. Cool. So they're playing like a kind of different version with like Ball Hog and stuff. I'm just trying to like Briarspawn Drake them to death. This is probably more like an aggressive deck of what I'm playing. They're like maybe have some more late game, but I also drew better than them. And next game, Paladin, the top deck of the format. Okay, got our Tuskpiercer ready to go. Never keep Inquisitor. Tuskpiercer is going to be my turn 1 play. Feels like Studies might be more of like a late game card. And just in case they're aggressive Paladin, I'm going to keep some AoE. A little board clear action for them. Okay. The Inquisitor is just like a little shy. Likes to come back to the hand. No problem with me. I'm just gonna get my Tuskpiercer going and call it a day. Okay, so they are an aggressive deck. And I am not going to waste any time with that thing. I do need to kill that thing. And also draw my Fae Trickster. Also just keeping their board clear so they can't buff it up with anything is very important. Flickering Light Bot will make that effort useless. Let's play our Fae Trickster. Gonna save my coin for turn 5 Cliff Dive. There's the hand. So if they don't do anything else with their board, like if they just like Flash of Light again, this Defiled Spear Trickster can clear. Really hoping... Okay, well... Glow Sticks is also fine, I suppose. Okay, so... I kind of just want to develop the spear. Because that bodes very well for my Cliff Dive turn. That's what this deck is all about. Just find Cliff Dive and ask questions later. Gonna be sunscreening up that bad boy, as you do. Gotta make sure you put your sunscreen on your machines. Big flavor win for this deck. Oh, that's really annoying. Actually, no, it's not. My guys have Rush because of Cliff Dive. It is a high roll, though. I'll have my opponent know that they did high roll me. And they are going to go for an O Manager and a nice little tap on my face. Feels good, feels great. And now they have another light bot. But that is a-okay because I have a Cliff Dive. And this will produce some damage here. And I kind of just want... I kind of want to deal with this 8/8. Yeah. Let's deal with the 8/8. Swing some damage right at their head. And this will also deal 2 damage more because of the excess damage. So I have my opponent down to 12. Love that. I hate that. I do, in fact, not enjoy that. But I have AoE galore, so all good. More sunscreens for the opponent. Yep. That is going to be promptly dealt with. And I have a dangerous Cliffside. That is actually an obscene amount of damage. So let's just, you know, hit my opponent for a lot of damage this turn. We are now entering the burn part of this game strategy, or this deck strategy rather. Their blood is boiling for war, I guess. Glow Sticks is pretty annoying for my burn strategy. Okay. So that gives me quite a bit of damage with Skirting Death. So let's take our damage while we can, and I am going to end up red carding that as well. And let's deal a little bit more damage to the opponent. Get them down to 4, so I do have quite a bit of lethal next turn. Is there any reason to Headhunt this turn? I don't think so. Yeah, not really seeing a reason to fire off the Headhunt. Maybe this can hit a minion if necessary. I'm liking that my opponent's board is clear while they are the Paladin class. There's that. Shaladrasil. I mispronounced the heck out of this card not too long ago. Luckily, those guys don't have rush, so I'm feeling pretty good about that. So my opponent, I feel like this is the play a bunch of cards, like I could have done so much more into concede angle. Very powerful line of play my opponent just showed off. Shaman. I've also never seen this Shaman portrait. Always good to see a new one. But yeah, I've not seen Shaman in what feels like forever. So I have no idea what they're up to. And it would not seem like I have my namesake card, being Cliff Dive. Okay, so this might be a bit of a Murmur situation. So they don't play many minions. So Drake might struggle to find something to smack into. Speaking of which, Drake decided to show up. Would much rather see him stay in hand or in my deck. I'm not trying to hardcast this guy. They got the Fairy Tale Forest, even more clear signs of my opponent being Murmur. Let's go with Chaos Strike. Chaos Strike will find red card, and I'm actually going to throw a Headhunt right at their head, because I might just be playing a 4/4 next turn. Not the usual play pattern you want to do with this deck. Okay, they got a Hagatha. Am I just playing a 4/4? Yep. We are in fact just playing a 4/4. And they're probably going to bump their 4/3 into my 4/4 and play some sort of removal on my remaining 4/1. My opponent is drawing exceptionally well with both Fairy Tale Forests. Oh, they're like a Terran Murmur deck? Very interesting. Okay. I am going to take this opportunity. Probably just a red card their 4/3. I mean, I have like so many red cards. And then let's just keep softening up their face. Yeah. We are nearing their Murmur turn, but without like the Hunter location, Parrot Sanctuary. The Murmur turn is a lot less impressive. Okay, so if I draw a Cliff Dive, I win. Very unfortunate. I do like to see the Hex come out because I do not want to see this get hexed. And we will end the turn. So Hagatha wakes back up so I can swing my 2/4 into it. And let's hope they don't have another Hex. Because if they don't, I probably just win. And winning is good. Ooh. 2 Hexes, 2 Fairy Tale Forests. You hate to see it. So I have a 1 in 9 chance of hitting Cliff Dive. And they are going to pop-up book. Okay. Perfect. Okay. I think that is likely game. So here's my Cliff Dive. Isn't it cool? And here's a hero power right up to your head. And then the dragon will clean this up. Cool. We beat the supposedly Murmur Shaman. Like very quickly too. They drew like exceptionally well too. Double Hex, double Fairy Tale Forest. Just might be a testament to how good that matchup is. You got a Lich King on the other side. It's a few decks they can be, like Menagerie, Aggro, Hand Buff, and of course Control. I don't hate Immolation Aura, just in case they're aggro. Because I already have the Tuskpiercer, so this is like a virtual Cliff Dive. Yeah. I think that's a pretty good keep. Not a bad pickup. Pretty much anything that is not my minions, I feel pretty good about. So it appears I mulligan correctly. I have my Immolation Auras ready to dunk on these 1/2s. And maybe even a 2/1. I would venture to dunk on that as well. So let's Immolation Aura and clean up this 1/1 and draw our 2/4. So Fae Trickster is of course my next turn play. Big monkey coming down. Everybody look out. And that is a 5/6. Like, that's not a small minion. Okay, so that is... Do I need to play around Oasis Ally? Oh, opponent. And counterspell? That's rough. So let's start things off with the banana. That's a counterspell. Okay. And I'm also going to see if this is Ice Barrier. Okay, so it's not Ice Barrier. If it's Oasis Allies, that would be very unfortunate to run into. So let's just go with one of those, red card this bad boy, and odds are I can swing into this and kill off. Perfect. Okay, so it was Oasis Ally. If I hit into that, I would be very grumpy. But we played around being very grumpy. Huge news. And next turn, even if I do play Cliff Dive, I can't swing at my opponent's head. So I think it's actually a better idea to Defiled Spear. And do I just take this opportunity to hit my opponent in the head with both of my... Maybe a 3/2? I'm going to have them clear it for me. And I will soften them up a little bit. Cool. So they will need to put in some resources to clear my 3/2 again. Moonkla is awoken. And they got the hideous husk. Okay. Let's go for... Oddly enough, it might be a Wyvern Slumber. Plus Cliffside? No, let's just cliff dive. Let's just cliff dive. So let's clear their 3/5, their 5/4, swing 2 at their head, and call it a day. You know, just a well-fought battle. Deal them 11 damage. If they have another Hideous Husk, this is not a good look. But they just don't have it. They never have it. In my dreams, they never have it. Do I have lethal? I don't think so. So 2, 4, 6, 7. So this is 4 damage, 6, 7, 8, 9. Alright, I do need to maybe first discover. I don't mind that. Actually, I-beam might be a little better. Yeah, I like I-beam. Deal 2 to everything. I-beam them out of existence. And let's just shove 4 damage. Yep. And that does set up lethal next turn if they don't have any more leeches. Naturally. So this is 4, 5, 6, 7. So I just need a way to deal 2 damage. So a Headhunt, or yeah, just Headhunt. Don't even think about it too much. Don't think about it too much. Just, you know, hit them right in their head. Press that button for that nice, easy, exact lethal. Perfect. Beat the double Hideous Husk because Cliff Dive is fair/balanced. The mage opponent.
You asked for it.
This ends now.
Spell Mage? Maybe Protoss? And that's about all the guessing I can do. I kind of like just keeping... Like, I have a Cliff Dive in Fae Trickster. I'd rather just, like, keep damage to soften up my opponent a little bit. Yeah. Let's keep some damage. Love being on the coin. Hate seeing Inquisitor in the opening hand. That's why I wasn't trying to mulligan that aggressively, because I didn't want, like, my stupid minions to enter my hand. No offense, Inquisitor. Or Drake. Let's see what young Kobe has for me. Has a rope. It would appear they have a rope for me. Alright. Decided to pass the turn. I do appreciate it. Almost missed my turn 1 hero power. Can you tell I play a lot of Demon Hunter? Looks like my quick turn will not be reciprocated. Oh wait. Another hero power. My opponent liked what I was doing, I guess. Let's draw a card. Hit them in the head. Love to see a weapon pickup. You really want a weapon going into your Cliff Dive turn because of this guy right here.
Annihilation.
Okay, they are on Protoss, and I am on Fae Trickster. So next turn, Defiled Spear can line up very well into their 3/2. Okay, they have a photon cannon for my 3/2. That's okay, because I have to not draw... Just don't draw any of the minions, and we're cool. And we're cool. No issues at all. There's a chance I shouldn't have hit in there, because if they have no board, that does not bode well for my Drake that's going to be coming out next turn. But I believe they're gonna give me something to work with. Okay, thank you. I appreciate your service. I am forever indebted to you. So let's just cliff dive. This always goes face. Okay. And let's, I guess, just clear this fella. And let's just deal them a measly 10 damage. Okay, back in the deck you go. Ancient of Yore. Can I produce any semblance of lethal here? Let's just go for a hero power and just start smacking. Smack again. And there's really no reason to headhunt, so actually, is there a reason? There might be a reason to headhunt. Because if I don't this turn... Yeah, I'm just going to headhunt this turn. Feels like next turn might be a little mana intensive because I might need to Dangerous Cliffside. So they're going to be going up to a lot of armor, honestly. Quite a bit of armor. Yeah. This is an uncomfortable amount of armor my opponent is gaining. Yeah, this is a gross amount of armor. Photon cannon that. Oh, so I can't cliff dive into it? But I can, like, cliff dive anyway. Okay. If I had it, that is. And this might find me cliff dive. Or do I just take damage? I might just be on taking damage. So let's take our damage. We do need to kill this 1/3. They probably have Sleet Skater, actually, which is a bit awkward. Yeah. I'll give their Sleet Skaters something to do, I guess. And let's swing a little bit of damage. Always awkward seeing your opponent just at 1 health, just hanging out. Now I start, like, thinking, did I miss 1 damage, or... Okay. Nice.
Annihilation.
This is quite the comeback they're having. But if I can draw just 1 measly cliff dive, I think the game is over. Or does that make the game over? 4, 8, 9. And then this can do quite a bit of damage next turn. But if they have... Oh, but if they have Colossus, I am most likely dead if I don't deal with their board. We have a Mishap. And deal some damage here, and let's just Grim Harvest into a Cliff Dive. Nobody tell my opponent. They're probably just going to play Artanis if they even run that card. Just nobody panic. Everything's cool. And also, big boys do not show up next turn. I would very much appreciate that. Okay. Do I have lethal is the question of the hour. And only one way to know. Hit them for that much damage, and that, you know, that appears to be lethal. 1 over. Amazing. Simply amazing. I think my opponent probably had lethal next turn with a Colossus, but that's why we don't worry about next turn. And we get a sick card back for our troubles.